He said he didn't want to marry me because I didn't fit his weight requirement in the 3 years we were together.
He wanted you to be bigger or smaller?
Well, I made the mistake and signed an agreement that I would lose.
Tell me about an agreement like this that you had to sign.
I guess basically in order for him to marry me that I would work on losing weight so he would buy me stuff for me to lose weight. And then he would go to counseling.
What I'm hearing is a broken, dismantled, trauma-filled man who self-projected his self-hate, his insecurity, his lack of integrity on you.
No. We gonna tell the truth in
Let's
today.
go.
Why is it always an issue when a man has requirements? Sometimes we just not yoked for each other, and that's perfectly okay. But in terms of even just like you said, he created a contract. Mm-hmm. Sure, but she signed it. You don't have to sign the contract.
Okay.
If I felt that disrespected by you writing this contract and laying it in front of the table, I say get the out of my face. But she signed it.
I signed it because I'm 47 now, and I want to be married. I was in love with him, so I figured the pickings is slim.
But I want to say this. Yes, she signed it. Yes, she needs to take accountability on that piece. But to your point that if you're saying that this woman is not the weight class, the body size, I'm not attracted to her, she's not conducive to my liking, why in the am I dealing with her in the first place? Okay? Why in the am I choosing her in the first place? I have the power of choice. There are a million women in here who are smaller, bigger, no BBL and everything else. I can choose that which is conducive for me. I don't have to pour into her or project onto her some trauma that I'm dealing with to say, look, I need you to sign a contract to be a certain size. Go get that to the size you want.
All right. Shut up, Cheyenne Bryant. I hope she sees this video too. Listen, ma'am, you signed a contract, so you should honor it. That's how business works. And the fact that you had a man who actually was willing to work with you and give you a contract to hold you accountable, that wasn't to shame you. That wasn't to lock you up if you don't honor that contract. He did that because he loves you and he wants you to make the proper changes so that you have a healthier life. I mean, God forbid a man wants his woman to be healthy and fit. God forbid a man wants to be able to pick his woman up and carry her over the threshold. I thought y'all ladies love being picked up. Y'all actually like being bigger than the men that y'all date? That's weird. That's out of order. And Cheyenne Bryant, I swear to God, like, she came on the scene and she be doing all these interviews and maybe like 15% of the stuff that she says I kind of agree with. But first of all, this chick is not a real doctor. She's not a real accredited doctor. That's the information that's been put out there, that she don't have no real accreditation. But even without the accreditation and paperwork and all that, she doesn't talk like a real doctor. A real doctor would not diagnose somebody on stage using typical social media buzzwords to shame a man who wants his woman to be accountable. Why is he a broken, dismantled, trauma-filled person? Because he wants his wife to live past 56? What? Why is it that when a man has requirements of his woman, to be fit, he's projecting? How is that a projection? So answer me this. What are women projecting when they require a man to make 6 figures, be 6 feet tall, have at least 6 inches of peen, and to be this alpha, dominant, aggressive, masculine man who can defend and fight and take on the world, but still come home and be sweet and nurturing and emotionally available and catering to her and of all things, monogamous to her? Tupac in a business suit. I'll answer. I'll tell you exactly what they're projecting. They are projecting their illusional ass imagination because that nigga don't exist. They never met this imaginary nigga that they make up in their head. But fit women actually do exist. This imaginary nigga that y'all be wanting, if you want him, most other women want him, which means he has a lot of options. And most men that have a lot of options don't cheat, they exercise their options. Y'all, truth be told, a lot of y'all women don't even want the man unless other women or enough women want him. But That's not this conversation. This conversation is about health and weight. Now, I wonder how much she did lose already. Did she already get in the gym? If you was already, you so in love with this man, if you did get in the gym, you started the process, why not finish? The finish line is right there, baby. It's right there. And of course, this is only her side of the story. We don't know what the guy's side is. There's probably more to it because typically that's what people in general do it, but I think women have a high propensity to omit pieces of information because we see this all the time when we have conversations with women. You got to kind of pry into what they're saying and do some deep diving detective work to figure out the actual truths in there that they just so conveniently leave out. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm just saying I would love to hear his side of the story too. But even from what she says, all he wanted you to do was be healthy. And this is coming from somebody that lost 100 pounds myself. Listen, she's 47. She looks good for her age. You look good to be 47, baby girl. Face is tight. You know, she got a little makeup on or whatever it look like, but she not like caked up or nothing. So it don't look like she really hiding nothing. I don't know if she has kids, but I'm going to assume that she does because most women by that age do tend to be single moms. But she says she's 47 and she wants to be married. Well, apparently you don't want to be married that bad because you had 3 years to get in shape. All you had to do was go to the gym 3 times a week. And this is what the Godfather used to always talk about. Women say they want to be married. Women say they want to be married to a good man or a certain type of man. But what are they willing to do? What work are they willing to put in to actually obtain that man? Just because you have a vagina doesn't mean that's all that's required to show up to the table with. Is this the reason why our black sisters, our black queens are the least married women? Only 1 in 4 of them will get married in their lifetime. The next lowest number is white women at 54%. That's still more than half. Because at least these other races of women will go to the gym and do the work and stay fit because they want to look good for their man. They don't have no problem eating a mango for dinner and going to bed. Hell, don't just do it for your man. Do it for yourself. You're 47 years old. You probably got less than 30 summers left. Don't you want to see 30 more summers? It's your big back ass. You don't need loaded fries on everything. You already know how that tastes. It's delicious. It's your big back ass. And I'm not talking about her. I'm saying in general. Again, this is good. I had to have this conversation with myself, and I lost 100 pounds. I did the work because I wanted to be healthier, because I wanted to know what it felt like to feel like I was young again. You don't just you don't just look better, you feel better. And when you feel better, you act better. Everything around you is better. Now, does that mean it would have been a perfect relationship? No. But a man that loves you enough, that loves you, I'm going to just use this as a cliche. Not that she looks bad, not that she's like a big fat sloppy junk. Because if she was 600 pounds, they would be having a totally different conversation. If that girl was up there looking like Precious, they would not be sitting there calling him trauma filled and saying he's projecting. They'd be like, well, yeah, your ass probably do need to get in the gym. But a man that's willing to love you at your worst while you get better to get to your best, that's a real man right there. And that's all he wanted to do, was see you get better and be at your best. Now, to the point that he could have just found a woman that is the size that he wants, I can agree with that. And the reason I can agree with that is mostly because of discipline. If she's not that size to begin with, and she's already in her 40s, chances are she doesn't have the mental discipline to do the work to actually lose weight and keep it off. You understand what I'm saying? So I can understand that aspect of it, but at the same token, it's like, well, men are smart enough to know that you can't have it all. If I want a feminine, fit, friendly woman, cooperative, submissive, the whole rundown, and maybe she has all those qualities, but she's not as fit, well, that could be fixed. That could be worked on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she's not the friendliest. She get a little, okay, that definitely needs some work. It's certain non-negotiables. obviously the weight wasn't a non-negotiable. Hey, this is something that can actually be fixed. And I'll give you time to fix it. I'll give you time to address it. So breaking up with her probably saved her life. Because women get broken up with, and if they know that's the reason why, oh, her ass would be in that gym. And before you know it, she'll have a Tiana Taylor body. Just so she can post it on social media and be like, look what you lost. Nah, that's not what I lost. That's what I was trying to get you to. And you did that in 8 months. You could, I gave you 3 years to come up with this body. But enough about that. Cheyenne Bryant, Miss Lady Ma'am, okay, you give trash advice. You would rather keep this woman single and unhealthy by not holding her accountable for honoring the contract that she signed. You know, technically she can go to jail for that, breaching her contract. A man is doing his job, holding up his end of the bargain, and all she has to do is work out. She probably wasn't even paying for the gym membership. He probably was paying for that. She had a man who was willing to marry her despite her being overweight. And that's not even a red flag because it's fixable. Y'all want a man that's a certain height. You can't control your height. There's actually certain exercises you can do, but it's not going to make a significant difference. You want a man that's making a certain amount of money. You're also in control of that, but that takes a lot of work. That takes decades of work. Men that make 6 figures don't just come off the 6-figure maker tree. Like, a man has to do a lot of work for a long time to build himself up to that point. But weight, you have control over that. You have control over what's on your fork. And I don't want to hear none of y'all in the comments try to come on here talking about, well, some people genetically can't lose weight. Listen, that thyroid disorder, that's only a small percentage of people who genetically have issues losing weight. Okay, that's a very small, un poquito, less than 5% of people that actually deal with that. If you got a big back, it's because you put that back in a big position. Okay? Only disorder is that you eating this order, that order, that order, this order. Because you putting cheese on everything with your big back ass. Ain't no such thing as big bone. You don't see no fat skeletons. It's your fat, sloppy ass. Get in the damn gym so you can get married. And let me know what you think in the comment section.
If I had a machine that could travel through time, I would go back some years with a Mac and a 9, 2 Uzis with a few grenades in my hand, 8Ks, HKs, more Ks than the Klan. That's fuck a nigga gonna do against me with a musket. I'm talking about them days they would stone you in public. You probably go back in time to meet Jesus Christ. I'd ask Jesus for help to steal Judas Ice. Amen.
You got music, you got a business, you got a product or service, but you're not making enough money off of it because you don't have enough exposure. DM or email me right now to get promoted on my platforms. I have 850,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have 460,000 followers on Instagram. I have the following that you want to get seen in front of. I was able to increase the sales of this Amazon book off of a YouTube sponsorship with just 30,000 views. And I was able to give this artist 15,000 views with the Instagram repost in less than 24 hours. So DM or email me at bookingcranklucas@gmail.com right now to get more exposure and more money for your business.